Very good afternoon to all. Once again, I welcome you all for this today's another lecture of our subject industrial hydraulics and pneumatic. In the morning, we have discussed about the regenerative circuit. Then we have gone for the sequencing control circuit. In that, we have discussed about the first one is the travel dependent sequence control. Then we have gone for the pressure dependent sequence control. After that, we have discussed the synchronizing circuit. Again, in that synchronizing circuit, we have discussed synchronizing with mechanical coupling, and then synchronizing with flow divider wall. Okay, and at last we have discussed about the hydraulic circuit using counterbalance wall. Okay, now let us we'll discuss about the next circuit, that is a fast approach and slow traverse circuit. Okay, so actually as per the syllabus this circuit is not included, but you should know as a practical knowledge if some application is there, like for example, if any application is there, in that application if you need the motion of your cylinder, linear motion. Okay, if you want to for example, if you want to cover distance of 50 meter or 50 centimeter. Okay, and in that again 50 centimeter, if you need 30 centimeter with fast motion. Okay, that means extending stroke with the fast motion. Okay, up to 30 centimeter, and remaining 20 centimeter if you want to travel with slowly, that means fast. Firstly you have to go by that 30 centimeter you have to cover with a very fast extending stroke, and remaining 20 centimeter distance if you want to cover slowly. Then such for such application we have to develop another circuit, and circuit named is a fast approach and slow traverse circuit. Okay, now see here in the screen. Okay, on this screen, before going to further, let me clear whether my voice is audible at your end, whether my video and my screen is visible at your end. Okay, just give me confirmation message at chat box so that I can move further. All of you, please give me reply. Okay, so as like our previous circuit, here also I have taken 4x2 direction control wall. Okay, and the solenoid operated wall is there. Okay, you can see here. Why I'm telling that 4x3, because here if you see we have the 4 ways of the 4 port. Okay, A, B, these are the inlet port or the cylinder side port, and P is the pressure or power supply port, and T is the tank or reservoir that port. Okay, so A, B, PT, these are the 4 port or the 4 ways, and this first position, this is the second center position, and this is the third one. So 3 position. So due to that only this is called 4x3 direction controller. Again it is a solenoid operated. So you can see here we have the solenoid operated, and this is spring centered. Okay, if you want to achieve the central position, whatever the I have shown in this figure, that is a spring centered position. Okay, now see, this is our cylinder. Okay, see, this is our cylinder. Okay, now in that cylinder, while extending stroke, that piston should move very fast up to, for example, if you want to attain 100% movement, out of that 100%, suppose you want to attain 50% or the 70% movement very fast. Okay, very fast you have to travel that 70% of distance very fast, and remaining 30% you have to achieve at a slow rate or slow speed. Now for such application, this type of circuits we need to design fast approach and slow traverse circuit. Okay, so 4x3 decision control is used, and after that here we have the our flow control. Getting it? This again 2x2 direction control is used here. Now see, now this is central position. Okay, this whatever I have shown, that is a central position. That is a 1 minute. So one thing is remain to tell that inform that this fast approach and slow traverse circuit, it is actually belongs to our method of speed control circuit. Okay, we have seen yesterday speed control circuit, meter in, meter out, wheel off circuits. Okay, so as we have discussed, there are the various methods of the speed control. Okay, as we have discussed yesterday, which provide constant speed during the your stroke of cylinder. Getting it? In meter in circuit as well as meter out circuit, during the that stroke of the cylinder, we are getting the constant speed. Okay, not that means slow fast. Okay, we are getting uniform. It may be fast or it may be slow, but constant speed we are getting. But as I have mentioned that there are some certain application in the industry where two different speeds are required in a one stroke only. Once again, I am repeating. There are certain or there are many applications in the industry where they need two different speeds in a one stroke only. That means while extending of your hard circuit, there you need two different speed. That means slow and fast or fast to slow. Okay, in a one stroke only. Okay, if your cylinder is moving or that ram is moving from left to right, that time firstly your ram should move fast, and after that it should move slowly. So for such an application, this type of circuit is designed. Okay, or you can prefer this type of circuit. Now in this type of circuit, actually whatever the one stroke is there, no, so in that your part, that means half part, or you can consider as a part of your stroke of your cylinder, that should move faster. Okay, firstly, and then remaining part of stroke is remaining, no, that stroke it should complete slowly. Okay, so for that purpose, this type or various circuits and the methods are developed to achieve that fast approach and slow traverse. And out of that, whatever I have shown this circuit, no, so one of the that difficult circuit I have shown. Getting it? So as I have shown in this circuit diagram, you can see we have this 2x2 direction control wall. Okay, this one. Okay, please look at on the screen and look at that cursor. So this is a 2x2 directional control wall. It is actuated by this roller. Okay, you can see. Okay, and with this actual 2x2 directional control wall, it works like a bypass controller actually. Okay, why it is installed here? Because it works as a bypass control wall. Getting it? And in rapid travels or in the what are the fast approaches there, no, in that your this flow control wall here, whatever I have shown this one, so this flow control wall actually it is a bypassed by this 2x2 direction control wall. Okay, means flow instead of going to this cylinder, okay, that means flow instead of going to the cylinder through this flow control wall, this flow is reaches to this cylinder through this 2x2 cylinder wall. Getting it? 2x2 direction control wall. Okay, what are the flow which is coming from this from P to A, no, actually it should move or it should go through this flow control. But for this fast approach and slow traverse circuit, flow is going from A to through this 2x2 bypass circuit bypass control wall 2x2. Okay, and it reaches this cylinder through this 2x2 direction controller. Okay, you can see the direction from P to A at position number 1. Okay, at position number this this side. Okay, left right side. So P to A, then A to from this 2x2 direction controller. It is not moving from this flow control wall. Okay, and then this your fluid will go this cap end of your cylinder. Okay, and due to that pressure of the fluid, your piston will move fast. Okay, in this direction. Okay, partly it will fast, and after that it will slow down. Okay, and simultaneously if it takes this position number 2, sorry, this one. Okay, left side, that time your fluid will come from this port B to this T. Okay, sorry, this one. Okay, so when cylinder approaches the required length, that 2x2, okay, whatever length which will be achieved by the your cylinder now, after achieving that length, the trigger of this 2x2 dash controller will actuate, and then flow will go through this 2x2. Getting it? And that time it will stop. Okay, so as the fluid takes the path through this flow control, and then cylinder move at speed which is determined by this pre-setting flow control. Getting it? Okay, now I will show one small video about this. Just a minute. Okay, no need to show. Understood? Understood or not? Please tell me. Fast approach and slow traverse circuit. Okay, when to use this circuit? When in a one stroke, if you want two type of motion, that means fast and slow. In any industrial application, that time you need to design such a circuit for that application. Okay, and for that application you need to use flow control wall, and then after that you have to install 2x2 direction control wall as a bypass control wall. Okay, bypass control wall. Getting it? Understood or not? Please tell me so that I can move further. 2x2, sorry, this. Now let us go for next one. Okay, now let us discuss some industrial applications where these hydraulic circuits are used. Okay, so firstly I will show this hydraulic circuit for grinding machine. Okay, so you can see here, here is our grinding wheel is there. Okay, here is our workpiece. Okay, and this workpiece is located or fitted on this chunk. Getting it? Now the grinding wheel is a constant, it is stationary. Okay, workpiece, whatever workpiece is there, no, that is fitted on the chain and it is located on the table. So you need to move your that table. Okay, in forward direction, then backward direction. Now to move that table, we need to design such a hydraulic circuit. Getting it? So you can see here we have the tank, there is reservoir. From that you can pick up or you can pump it fluid, okay, or oil. So here we have the pump. Okay, then here we have the pressure measuring, that is instrument, that is pressure gauge. Okay, here we have the pressure relief valve also. Okay, now this is connected to this 4x2 direction control valve. It is pilot operated valve. Okay, so you can see it is pilot operated valve. And then this, what are the fluid which is coming from the pump? It will pass through the P port to A, and then from this A port to it will go to this your double acting cylinder. Okay, so this is double acting cylinder, through which or through that your table will move in forward direction as well as backward direction whenever it is required. Getting it? Okay, so when the fluid, if you consider this one position, so a fluid will go from this wall to this side of your, actually this is a double ram or double piston double acting cylinder, because here we have a double ram, double rod. Okay, so fluid will come from this port, then due to that this piston will move towards this direction. Okay, when it moves to your direction, that time table also move in this direction, whatever the I have shown here direction. Okay, and whatever the fluid is here, no, that will come from this port to this wall. Okay, B2 this T, and it goes to the this tank. Getting it? Now when you actuate another this position, no, that time your fluid will pass through this P2 this B, and it will go from this, and due to that cylinder move, this piston will move towards this direction, and simultaneously your table will move. Okay, and here also we have this wall. Okay, flow control wall here. Getting it? So this is a circuit diagram for grinding machine. Okay, let me check whether I have video or not. Okay, just wait, because I think I have video regarding this one, grinding. Okay, I have a video, so I will show that one. Okay, just a bit. Surface grinding machine, or you can call it as a milling machine, hydraulic milling machine. Okay, for that, which circuit we should have, that we should know.
In this video, I explain hydraulic milling machines or hydraulic shaper grinding machines. In this video, I explain hydraulic milling machines or hydraulic shaper grinding machines. So here you see this is the diagrams of the hydraulic milling machines or a hydraulic surface grinding machines. Okay, so in a milling machines or a hydraulic grinding machines, we know that the rotating type. Okay, so here you see that is the milling cutters or a grinding wheel. Suppose we consider that it is the milling machines, then this tool is the milling cutters, and suppose we consider the machine is the surface grinding machine, then here the grinding wheel is there. Here you see this workpiece, and the workpiece is fit on the machine tables. Okay, we know that the machine table is reciprocates or move in these directions, and the milling cutters or a grinding wheel is rotate. So in milling machine or a surface grinder machine, the workpiece is clamped on the machine table. Means here you see this is the machine table, and on the machine table the workpiece is clamped. The machine table is made to reciprocate using a double rod N type double acting cylinder. DAC means double acting cylinders. So where this machine table is installed? So machine table is installed on the double rod N type double acting cylinders. So here you see this is the one cylinder. Inside this cylinder this is a piston. Okay, and this piston have the two rods. This is the one rod and this is the second rods. Okay, that's why here written that is a double rod N type double acting cylinder. Double acting cylinder means on both the side of the piston, the oil is supplied or removed from these sides. So here you see that on the both the side of the piston, the pot is provided. Okay, so from the pot oil is supplied or oil is also removed from the cylinder from this pot. Same way on the this side, so oil is also supplied and oil is also removed from this. This is called as the double acting cylinder, and the piston have the two pots, that's why it is two rod, that's why it is called as the double rod end types. That is, the workpiece is made to reciprocates against the rotating multi-point cutting tool. Multi-point cutting tool means milling cutters or a grinding wheels. Why it is called as the multi-point cutting tool? Because it have the multiple cutting edges. That's why it is called as the multi-cutting tool. Thus the cutting tool cuts the metals. Okay. Now in a shaper machines, we study that the cutting tool is reciprocates and the tool is mounted on the tool post and the clapper box and the ramp. Okay. So ramp is reciprocate and cutting tool is reciprocates and the workpiece is stationary. Okay. Now opposite thing is in these milling machines and the surface grinding machines, the tool is rotating and the workpiece is reciprocates. Okay. In shaper machine, the workpiece is stationary. So in a shaper machines, we gave the reciprocating motions to the ramp. Means ramp of the shaper machine is mounted on the double rod N type double acting cylinders. But in a case of milling machines or a hydraulic surface grinding machines, the machine table is mounted on double rod N type double acting cylinders. The continuous reciprocations of the ramp can be obtained either by using the solenoid DCV or by using the pilot operated DCV. Okay, in a shaper machines we use the solenoid operated DCV. Okay, and we know that when we use the solenoid operated DCV, we need to use the limit switches. Okay, and when we use the pilot operated DCV, we need to use the limit valves. Okay, now here you see that directional control valve is operated by the pilot operated. That's why here the P1 and P2 is written. In a shaper machines we use the limit switches, that's solenoid operated. Okay, so solenoid operated is directional control valve is there, then we written here the S1 and S2. Okay, so here P1 and P2 is written in this diagram. That means we use the pilot operated DCV, and for pilot operated DCV we are required a limits valve. So here you see that the LV1 means limit valve 1, and here LV2, that is the limit valve 2. Okay, so in these machines we are also able to use the solenoid operated. Okay, so suppose here we use the solenoid operated, then we need to return the S1 and S2, and this limit valve is replaced by using the limit switch. So instead of this limit valve, we need to put the limit switches here. Okay, that is the simple things. So in a last video we study about the hydraulic shaper machine, in which we use the solenoid operated and the limit switches. So in a shaper machine it is also possible that we are use the pilot operated instance of the solenoid operated. Okay, so in shaper machine suppose we use the pilot operated, then the limit switch is replaced by using the limit valve 1 and limit valve 2. So we need the limit switches if solenoid DCV is chosen, and limit valve if the pilot operated DCV is chosen. So here you see that is a 4/2 directional control valve, and it is the pilot operated, that is the P1 and P2 is written. Okay, so pilot operated is that's why we use the
let me confirm that whether this video is relevant, whether it is useful to understand for the better understanding. Just tell me whether this video is useful to get more knowledge, practical knowledge. Just tell me. Okay, in the chat box, just write down yes, no. All of you, please tell me. Only 1-2 students are giving response. Okay.
Here the limit valve. So that thing is written here in a second line. Limit valve if pilot operated DCV is chosen. In this example, pilot operated DCV and limit valves are used. You can also use the solenoid operated. So in a exam you can throw anyone. Okay, either use the solenoid operated, pilot operated, both are the correct systems. Now before moving ahead, I request to like the video and subscribe my channels for watching the more video related to the OHP and other subject of mechanical engineering. For other subject, I request to visit the playlist then you can get the various subjects. And if you want to watch the video of OHP, various link is provided in descriptions, as well as in the card various playlist link are provided. Now 4x2 double pilot DCV is used with the two limit valves on either end of the piston rods. Double pilot DCV, why double pilot is written? Because that is a two pilot is there. Okay. And the two limit valve is used because the in a directional control valve two pilot is there. That's why we need the two limit valves. And the limit valve is fitted on the either end of the piston rods. Here you see this is the piston rod, and at the end of the piston rod or whether we need to stop the limit or we need to put the limits. That's why here the limit valve is written. Okay. So this part is able to move up to this part on a back sides, and in this end is able to move up to this point. Okay. They are not move ahead because this motion is changed by using the oil supply. Okay. The piston rod while reciprocating means this piston rod is reciprocate. At that time what happened? Actuate this limit valve. Actuate means operate the limit valves, which in turn actuates 4x2 DCV. Means when the piston rod is actuated this limit valve, then limit valve is further actuated means operate the directional control valve. That is a 4x2 directional control valve. That's why here 4x2 DCV is written. Thus the automatic reciprocations of the ramp is achieved. Now we study what is the first positions and what is the second positions. So in a first positions of the 4x2 DCV, oil flow from P to A and B to T, hence the piston extends. Now in this diagram you see that the diagram is drawn for the first position. So here it is connected with the first square, and the oil coming from the pump is supplied to P port and then it is supplied to A ports, and the oil returned from the right side of the piston is supplied to the B port, and the B port is connected with these T ports. And here thing is written, the piston is extend. Piston is extend means the pressurized oil is enter in a port, then here supply on this port, that is a cap and port, and this oil is apply some force on the piston and piston is start to move left to right side. It is called as the extension strokes. At the same time some oil is present on the right side of the piston, is supplied to the B port, and from the B port it is supplied to T port, and from the T port it is go to the reservoirs. So here you see that is a flow meter is putted. Now in second positions of the 4x2 DCV, oil flow from P to B and A to T, hence the piston is retracts. So in a second position means on a second square you see that is a cross line is drawn. Cross line drawn means the P port is connected with the B port in upper direction. That means P is connected with the B port, and here you see that A port in downward line. So A port is connected in a with the T port. Means pressurized oil come from the P port is supplied to the B port. From the B port oil is enter onto the rod end ports. Means here the both side is rod end port, means we consider this is a rod 1 and this is a rod 2. So rod end port 2. Okay. And this oil is apply some force on the piston and piston is start to move from right to left. It is called as the retraction. At the same time some oil is present on the left side of the piston. It is supplied to the A port, and here you see that A port is connected with this T port. Means oil is supplied to the T port, and from the T port oil is go to the reservoirs or a oil tank. Flow control valve is placed in a return line. Flow control valve is placed in the return line. So here you see this is the return line, and in the return line the flow control valve is putted.
Okay. So that was about the this grinding. Okay. Whatever you have learned in the chapter number 1, 2, so its application means these all circuits. Okay, and this all circuit diagram is what? Just a connection or the combination of all the symbols. Okay, we have seen the this grinding and milling. Okay, this was the grinding. See, same circuit is there in upper part. And this is the milling. Same. Now here booster pump is what? If you need more flow, so booster pump is used. Okay, and then metering wall. Okay, for the feed adjustment is used. And see, this is a hydraulic circuit for the shaper machine. Okay. Okay, I will show. I have one video. Okay, just shaper.
In this video, I explain hydraulic shaper circuit. So first we understand the few basic points of the shaper machines, and then after in the detail we study the hydraulic circuit for the shaper machines in the detail. So first we move towards the introductions. Shaping is a machining process in which cutting tool is reciprocate on the stationary cause the tool to cut the metal, means the reciprocation moment of the ramp is and double acting cylinders. Okay, why it is double rod? Because on both the side of the piston you see that rod is provided. So this is the one rod, this is the second rod. That's why it is called as the double rod. And double acting cylinder, DSC means double acting cylinder. Why it is double acting cylinder? Because on both the side of the piston the inlet and outlet are provided simultaneously, means oil is enter from this side, leave from this side, oil is also enter.
Whatever the figure I have shown in this on the in that slide, so then that figure, this figure is simple to understand, because if you see this is a reservoir. Okay, and here we have the pump and motor arrangement. From this through this pump you can suck oil from this reservoir. You can pass to the your 4x2 direction controller, which is operated by this solenoid. Okay, solenoid operated direction 4x2 direction controller. Okay, so due to that only here S1 and S2 is written. Okay, and to control the that fluid flow. Okay, so here flow control is placed. Getting it?
Enter from this side and leave from this side. Okay, that's why it is called as the double acting cylinder. The cutting stroke of the ramp shall be slow and return stroke shall be fast. Okay, so we know that in a shaper machine the cutting stroke is done at the slow speed and the return stroke is idle, means during the return the cutting tool does not do any cutting. Okay, so we return stroke is generally called as the idle stroke, and we do the idle stroke quickly to save the working times. Okay, for this we can choose the meter out circuit. Okay, in other type of the quick return shaper machines and that is a something setting is done, that's why the return stroke is faster. Okay, but in hydraulic circuit if we need to do the return stroke quickly or a faster, then we need to choose the meter out circuits. Okay, so we are already studied the speed control circuit, in which we are studying the three types: meter in, meter out, and the bleed up circuits. Okay, for the shaper machines we are selecting to meter out circuit for the retraction strokes. Okay, how it is selected that I discuss later on during the working of the hydraulic shaper circuits. Now before moving ahead, I request to like the video and subscribe my channels. Motion means in this cylinder the extensions and retractions are going on. Okay, so these extensions double pilot DCV. DCV means directional control valves. Okay, why directional control valve is required? Because that is a reciprocation motion, means in this cylinder the extensions and retractions are going on. Okay, so these extension and retraction we need to supply the oil from the different side. Okay, for extension we need to supply the oil from this side, for retraction we need to supply the oil these sides. Okay, so this is controlled by using the directional control valve. Okay, and how to operate the directional controller? For operating the directional controller, there is a number of ways. Okay, manual method is also available, but we need to do automatic continuous operations. Okay, for that we are required to choose the double solenoid DCV or by using the double pilot DCV. So here you see that we are selecting the solenoid type system, okay, S1 and S2. And when we choose the solenoid operated directional control valve, we need to use the limit switch LS1 and LS2. So we need the limit switches if solenoid directional control valve is chosen, and we need to use limit valve if pilot operated DCV is chosen. Pilot operated DCV means some oil is drained from the some component and it is supplied to the directional control valves, and the position of directional control valve is changed. Okay, so limit valve is also one type of the directional control valve, in that we are used the 3x2 directional control valves as the limit valves. But for simplifications, here we use the solenoid operated directional control valves, and here the two solenoid is there. That's why we need to use the two limit switches LS1 and LS2. In the above example, double solenoid DCV, we install the limit switch LS1 and LS2. The piston rod while reciprocating switches, okay. And what happen when limit switch is the directional control valves, okay. So actuate means operate. So piston rod is in a first position. So this diagram is given for the first positions, okay. So in a first position, oil is flow from P to A and B to T. So here you see that the P port is connected with A port, and this B port is connected with the T port. Means oil coming from the pump is supplied to P port. From the P port it is coming A ports, okay. And oil is coming here. Now oil have the two options, either pass through the flow control valves and from the check valve, okay. But we know that it is the meter out circuit, okay. Meter out means oil is flowing in downward direction from the flow control valves, okay. That's why it is called a meter out. But here the oil is supplied to the actuator, means it is the input is going on, okay. So when the input is going on, the input is supplied from the check valve. From the check valve oil is come here, and then after supplied it to the double rod end type double acting cylinder, okay. So here it is written this flow is through the check valve. Hence the piston is moved with the faster rate, because we are not able to control the flow rate of the oil. And when we are not able to control the flow rate of the oils, they are done at the faster speed, okay. And when we control the flow rate, the speed is reduced, okay. At the same time, some oil is present on the right sides of the piston, is supplied to the B port, and from the B port it is supplied to the T ports, okay. And when the extension stroke is completed, what happen? They press the limit switches, and limit switch is supplied electric current to the solenoid, and solenoid is change the positions, and the directional control valve is come on to the second positions, okay. So when the directional control valve is come on the second positions of the 4x2 DCV, oil is flow from P to B and A to T. So here you see that the P port is connected with this B port, and the A port is connected with this T port, okay. So oil is supplied from P to B, okay. From the B port, oil is supplied to the rod end port, means on the right side, okay. Because now in this case both are the rod end port, so I just confused. And so we are considered that is the right side of the piston, and this is the left side of the pistons, okay. So oil is supplied to the right side of the pistons, and they apply some force on the piston, and piston is start to move from right to left. It is called as the retractions of the strokes, okay. And oil is returned from the left side of the piston is have the two options from the check valve and flow control, and we know that it is the meter out circuit for retractions. So this is the outlet for the retraction stroke. So this flow is here written is that this flow is through the flow control valves, okay, and it is the control flow. So in a flow control we are reduce the flow rate. That's why we are able to control the, or we are able to reduce the speed during the forward strokes, okay. Hence the piston is moved with the control speeds, okay. So during the retractions the piston is moving forward, so it is the working stroke, and during the idle stroke the cylinder is going on the extension strokes. The stroke length and the positions of the stroke
Okay, I think you are clear with this shaping machine circuit, okay. This is your whatever the we have shown na, that flow meter, this, and this was the solenoid operated 4x2 direction control valve, okay. just now this is a hydraulic clamping circuit. Okay, now this is another application where hydraulic circuit you can use hydraulic clamping circuit. So again, you can see here this is a reservoir. From this reservoir you can take oil or the fluid, so to pump for pumping. Here we have the pump motor arrangement. Okay, this is a filter. Okay, here we have the pressure relief valve, and from this what are the fluid oil is going to come from this pump. It will go to this. Again here 4x2 direction control is there. This is a solenoid operated spring return. Okay, spring is there. Okay, fluid will go will pass from this P to A. Okay, then it will go through this this now for clamping. Okay, for clamping here it is required two hydraulic cylinders. That means actuator 1 and 2. Okay, so you can see here actuator 1 and 2. So simultaneously the fluids or the oil which is going to come from the pump to the direction controller, it should uh, go to the both the actuator. That means actuator A and B. For that purpose, here we have the flow control valve. Okay, this one and this one. Okay, flow control valve. Okay, so simultaneously it can go to the both the cylinder. Okay, so at one cylinder or at one actuator, your extension stroke will happen, and this one. Okay, and another first will come in this like horizontal. Okay, forward you can call, and second this actuator A. Okay, it will lift. Okay, so for that purpose 4x2 direction controller is used and flow controller. Getting it? So this is a circuit diagram for hydraulic clamping. Okay, application. Okay, please have a look. Then now hydraulic braking system. Okay, here firstly I will show this diagram. Okay, for better understanding purpose where hydraulic braking how hydraulic braking system is there in the automobile. Okay, so you can see here these are the wheel cylinder pistons. Okay, 1 2 3 4. This is a piston. This is your wheel. Okay, compressible fluid will flow from this one. Okay, this is our foot pedal. Okay, when you press, when you press that foot pedal, due to that, this is your master cylinder one. So, sorry, master cylinder, and this master cylinder piston. So when you push or push that foot pedal, no, that time your master cylinder piston will move in a horizontal direction. That means this. Okay, and fluid will move in this your piston number 1, piston number 2. Okay, in this wheel cylinder. Okay, so that is a and due to that only your braking system will start. Getting it? This is just a schematic diagram, pictorial view. Actually, circuit diagram you can see. Here we have the brake pedal. Okay, you can push this brake pedal. Okay, this is our master cylinder. So your piston will move toward this direction. Okay, then this pressure sensor is there. Here we have the all the arrangement. This pump and motor, the accumulator. Here wheel circuit is there. Wheel cylinder. Okay, inlet wall is here. Outlet wall. Okay, pressure sensor. So these components are required for the hydraulic braking system. Getting it? Just quickly, I will see the application. Okay. Now, this is another hydraulic circuit with the accumulator. Okay, with the accumulator. See, here also we have this our cylinder. Okay, our actuator. Here we have the our 4x2 direction control valve. Actually, not a 4x2. This is a 3x2. Okay, 3x2 direction control solenoid operated spring return. Okay, here our reservoir line to the reservoir. This is 2 is a filter strainer. This is a unidirectional fixed displacement pump. Okay, here we have the pressure relief valve. So this is connected to this P2, this A. Okay, and your piston or what are the cylinder is there, no, that will move in this forward direction. Now, while that retracting, no, that time your fluid will come from this port. It will not pass through this check valve. Okay, it will store in this accumulator. This is a symbol of accumulator, and it is a gas loaded accumulator. Okay, and this is a double acting cylinder. We know that hydraulic cylinder, double acting cylinder, and this is our solenoid operated spring offset 3x2 direction control. Here our pressure relief valve. Getting it? Here as well as here pressure relief valve. Getting it? So this is a circuit in some industrial application, such as circuit diagram. It is useful. Okay, so for that purpose also we should know where accumulator should be used, because we know that accumulator is just storage of the energy. Okay, emergency power source you can call. Okay, it store the extra, what are the fluid is there, no, it is stored at the accumulator. Whenever it is required, that time you can discharge from that. Okay, see, accumulator as a hydraulic shock absorber. Okay, here we have that accumulator. See, this is our lever operated spring offset. Lever operated spring offset 2x2 emergency shutdown wall is there. Okay, and which will connect it to the your system. Okay, that is a hydraulic shock absorber. Okay, and this spring wet loaded type accumulator is there. Here we have the check wall. Sorry, pilot wall. Okay, this is our pressure relief valve. Okay, so this is another application of accumulator. Now I will show another that hydraulic circuit with the intensifier, or you can call it as a pressure intensifier circuit also. Okay, same way here we have the workpiece, or for any work to be done, no. Okay, or for any, if you want to, for example, in this diagram, it is required to push this workpiece. So to that, for that purpose, this cylinder is there. It's a double acting cylinder. Okay, for to this double acting cylinder, here we have the intensifier. This one. Okay, this is a check wall. This is a pressure relief valve. This is a 4x3 unit 4x3 spring. See here, lever operated spring return 4x3 direction controller. Getting it? This is our pressure relief valve. So such hydraulic circuit you should know. Okay, which in that intensifier, why it is used in intensifier? Because in some application we need to boost the pressure of that fluid. For that purpose, such a intensifier it is installed in that hydraulic circuit. Getting it? Understood or not? Okay, over. Understood? Understood or not? Please tell me, hydraulic circuit with the accumulator and hydraulic circuit with the intensifier, pressure intensifier. Understood or not? Please tell me. All of you, just write yes, no in the chat box. Understood or not? Gaurav, Abhishek, Suhas, Sadashiv, Balaji, Gaurav Karande, Shivani, Kunal, Sachin, Pratik, Diksha, Sambhaji Patil, then Nikita Pawar, Saurabh Pawar, Shubham Gandole, Rutraj Kale. Please tell me, do you understand? Do you got the point, this point or not? Okay, so these are the different circuit as per the syllabus. These all are circuit we have covered. Okay, now let us I will show some videos. Okay, small videos. One I will show the intensifier circuit to operate this punching machine. Okay, one practical oriented.
In this video, I explain intensifier circuits to operate punching press. So first I explain what is the intensifiers. So in a fluid mechanics you already study about the intensifiers. So from the name of the intensifier we can understand that the intensifier is used to increase the intensity of a liquids. Okay, liquids means it may be water, it may be oils. Okay, so in this punching press machines, here you see that's the various component: die holder, die, workpiece, punch holders, and in that case we use the single acting cylinders, and it is a spring return types, means retraction is going naturally due to spring force and the extension is done by the oil supplied from the intensifiers. Okay, that means in this circuit, in simples, the intensifier is installed in between the cylinders means actuators, and directional control valves, means intensifier is installed between the directional control valve and the intensifiers. So here you see that it is the intensifiers, and intensifier have the two ports, and two port is connected with this directional control valve. So one side of the intensifier is connected with this A port of directional control valves, and other side is connected with this B port of the directional control valves. And here we use the 4x2 DCV, means that is a two position is there and the 4 port is there. 4 port is the port A, T and AB. P port is connected with the pump, T port is connected with this tank or a reservoirs. When the lever of 4x2 DCV is kept on a first positions, oil flow from P to A and B to T. So here you see this diagram is for the first positions, and in the first position P port is connected with his port A, that's why the upper arrow is drawn here. Okay, and the B port is connected with this T, that's why here the downward dial is drawn. The intensifier is extends, hence the oil with intensified pressures flow to the single acting cylinders. Means when the oil supplied from the pump, it's come in a P port, from the P port A port, then it is supplied to the intensifiers. Okay, and this oil is applied some force on this device, and it increase the intensity of the pressures of the oils, and this intensified pressure oil is supplied to the single acting cylinders, and the single acting cylinder is move in a downward directions. So with these pistons of the single acting cylinder, punch holder is connected, so punch is also moving downward directions, punch is moving downward directions, and it's perform some work on the workpiece. It is called as the extensions of the intensifier circuits. The cylinder is extends to punch the workpiece. When the lever of 4x2 DCV is kept on a second position, so when the punching is done, the first stroke is over, first position is over, we need to move to the second positions. Okay, so move to second positions, we need to change the positions of the directional control valves. And how it is changed? So when the lever of 4x2 DCV is kept on a second positions, oil is flow from P to B and A to T. So here you see that P port is connected with this B port and A port is connected with this T ports. Means the oil is supplied from P to B. Okay, so from this B port oil is go on these sides and it's come here. Okay, and the intensifier is move in a left directions. And when the intensifier is moving in left directions, the oil present on the left side of the intensifiers, it's supplied it to the A port, and from the A port it is go to the T port, and from the T port it is applied it to the tanks or reservoirs. The intensifier is retract, and the single acting cylinder is also retracts due to this spring force. Retract means this piston is start to move in the upper directions. So when the piston is moving upper direction, this punch and punch holder is also moving in upper directions. So thank you for watching this video. If you learn something, then like the video.
Okay, one more practical oriented circuit I will show. Okay, just okay. Now one thing need to tell you that what are the circuit we have seen, no? So in that circuit, everywhere we have considered hydraulic cylinder. Okay, that means hydraulic cylinder is a linear actuator, no, in the hydraulic. But about rotary actuator, okay, that means the hydraulic motor. Okay, we have not seen in application. So regarding that, I will show the hydraulic motor circuit. Okay, where for getting the rotary motion, okay, which circuit you can use that also. So as we know that in a hydraulic motor, first is that hydraulic motor is another major hydraulic actuator. Okay, major actuator in the hydraulic circuit, getting it, hydraulic system. And the hydraulic motor or that rotary motor, actually they convert the your hydraulic energy into the rotational motion, similar to the hydraulic cylinder. In the hydraulic cylinder, we are converting the hydraulic energy to the linear motion. Here in the hydraulic motor, we are converting hydraulic energy into the rotary motion, getting it. So, and again, hydraulic motors are classified as a unidirectional, then bidirectional. Okay, motors are unidirectional, bidirectional. Okay, so for that, which type of circuit we can develop, or how to develop circuit for such, you can see here. So this is a hydraulic circuit for unidirectional hydraulic motor. Okay, so you say same. Here we have the reservoir, this is a filter. Okay, our strainer, this is our pump and motor. Pressure relief valve is there. This is a 3/2 direction push button operated push. Okay, and spring return 3/2 direction control is there. And here, instead of hydraulic cylinder, unidirectional motor is used. Okay, to get the one directional, just rotational motion. Okay, see, unidirectional hydraulic motor. Okay, and this was the just normal position. Okay, when it is actuated, no, that time actuated position here I have shown. Okay, so flow will pass from P to A port, and from the A to it will goes to your motor. Due to that, your motor will rotate. Okay, in one direction. So this is hydraulic circuit for unidirectional hydraulic motor. Now I will show the bidirectional. Okay, bidirectional is what, in both direction. See, this is a hydraulic circuit for bidirectional hydraulic circuit for bidirectional hydro motor. Getting it? This is a speed control of your bidirectional hydraulic circuit. Okay, actually this is not in our syllabus, but just as a knowledge purpose, I have I'm taking. Now if you want to arrange two motion, that is if you want to arrange hydraulic cylinder as well as that motor in a sequence, then this type of circuit you can design. Okay, see, we have the reservoir, this pump. Okay, pressure relief valve is there, this 4/2 direction control is there. Okay, and see, with the help of the sequence valve, fluid will pass through the your cylinder. That is to get the linear momentum of cylinder. Fluid will pass firstly to this hydraulic cylinder. Okay, and simultaneously, not simultaneously, after getting or after completion of the first stroke, first action in the cylinder, fluid will pass through this sequence valve, and you will get the rotary motion of your motor. Okay, so how we can install, or how you can develop sequence control circuit to get linear motion as well as the rotary motion with the help of this, you can see. Getting it? Then this braking and replenish circuit. Okay, so this is another application. You can take it. I will show one small video regarding that. This one also. One minute. Operating of unidirectional motor. That I will show. 1 minute.
In this video, I explain hydraulic circuit designs. In these hydraulic circuit designs, the unidirectional motor is used, and this unidirectional motor is operated by using the 3x2 DCV. DCV means directional control valves. Okay, so I explained by using the animation, so you can easily understand how this system is work. So first we understand what is the symbol of unidirectional motors and what its meaning, and what is the meaning of 3x2 DCV. So in this case, unidirectional motor can be operated by 3x2 directional control valves. Okay, so here you see how the unidirectional motor is drawn. Okay, unidirectional means that the motor is rotated only in a one direction. Okay, now this unidirectional motor is also called as the actuators. So there is a various type of actuator is there. So in a different hydraulic system, different type of actuator is used according to this requirement. But in this case, it is specifically given that is a unidirectional motor. Uni means the motor is rotated only in a one direction. Okay. Now inside this motor, the one triangle is provided and apex of the triangle is inside. Okay. And suppose that is a pump is there, then this apex is on the periphery of that. Okay. So when I show you this complete image, at that time you understand difference of the motor as well as the pump symbols. Now 3x2 DCV has a 3 ports. Okay, so first digit in any directional control valve is indicate the number of port, and the second digit it is the 2. That 2 is indicate that is a 2 position is possible. Okay, now what is the name of the 3 port? The name, first name is the inlet port and it is denoted as the P. Second one is the tank port, it is denoted as the T, and the third one is the motor port A. Okay, in this case we use the motor, that's why I give the name motor port. If we use the cylinder, then we give the cylinder port A. Okay, and fourth port is that, and it is the motor port B. If in cylinder case, it is the cylinder port B. So here we need the 2 positions. Okay, so we need to draw the 2 square. So in a 1 square there is a 3 port is there. Okay, so first we give the port P. From port P to oil is supplied there to the port A. Okay, so here you see that is the arrow is moving in upper direction, and the T port is the close. So this type of the symbol is indicate it is the close positions. Okay, for the second positions we need to do second square. Inside this second square another T port is there and the directional is also given. So here the A port. Okay, so in a second positions the hydraulic oil is flow from the A port to T port, and the P port is the close. Now it have the 2 positions, that is clear. Now we move towards the diagram and understand what is the first positions and second positions. So in a first positions of a spool of 3x2 DCV, oil under pressure flow from P to A and the T port is close. Okay, here you already see that oil is flow from P to A and the T port is the close. Hence the shaft of the motor run. Okay, now we draw the complete diagrams. So every type of this hydraulic circuit we require to draw this part. Okay, so I show you this part together, and if you completely want to understand the general layout with the animations, then I provide the link in a card. Card means in the top right screen of your mobile you see the eye symbol. From that you can completely understand the general layout and in too easy way. So here you see this is the oil reservoir. This pipe does take the oil from the reservoir supplied to pump. Pump is increase the pressure of oil. So here the P port and another component, that is pressure gauge, pressure relief valve, and from the T port the oil is again supplied to the oil reservoirs. Now here we put this directional control valve, that is a 3x2. Okay, so it is the first positions. So this first square is connected. So here you see oil is come from the P port, is go to the A port here. Okay, then after the pipe connection is there. By using this pipe connection, oil is supplied to the unidirectional motor. So here we draw the symbol of unidirectional motors. Okay, so it is not necessary to draw this triangle here. You can also able to draw this triangle at the any location, or you can also draw here. You also draw this bottom part, but taken care point is that apex is inside. Okay, now in a case of the pump, you see that apex is connected on the periphery. Okay, so this is the difference between pump symbols and the motor symbols. And here you see that the motor is rotated into the clockwise directions. So I hope you can understand the first positions. Now we move towards the second positions. Before moving on to second positions, position is changed. Okay, so here the directional control valve is operated by using the different mechanisms. So any one method is used to operate the directional control valve. That method I not draw here. But when the specific case is given, directional control valve is operated by using this method, and you need to draw the symbol here. Okay, now in second position of the spool of 3/2 DCV, oil under the pressure flow from A to T. Okay, why it is required A to T? Because we need to stop the motor. Okay, so when we stop the motor, so oil present inside this motor is supplied through this pipe, and this pipe it is come into the A port, and from the A port here one pipe connection is there. So oil is supplied from port A to port T, and from the port T it is supplied to the tank through the filters. And here you see that the P port is closed. Okay, so here it is P port and P port is closed, and hence the motor is stopped because we not supplied the oil to the motor, but we take the oil from the motors. Okay, so I hope you can also understand the second positions.
Understood? Okay. Hydraulic circuit for unidirectional motor. Understood or not? Understood? Please tell me in the chat box. Okay. Now quickly within 2 minutes I will show go through the another video that is bidirectional. Okay, for only 2 minutes. Okay. After that we'll conclude.
In this video, I explain operating bidirectional motors using 4x3 DCV. So it is the circuit design, means it is used for hydraulic systems as well as for the pneumatic systems. So first they have a different 3 position. Here you see this image. So first we understand what is the 4x3 DCV. Means that is a 3 position. This is the unidirectional motor, then we only need to 1 triangles. But here the bidirectional. Bio means 2. So it is rotated in 2 directions. That means we need to draw the 2 triangles, and these triangles is connected with the directional control valve, so we need to draw the pipe connection. Okay, this is the one end and this is the second sides. Now here we draw the 1 square, means for the first positions. So here you see this is the port P, this is port A, and oil is flow from P to A. During same time the oil is flow from B to T, this B port and T port, so arrow is drawn in the downward direction. Here the oil is flowing upper direction from P to A, that's why the arrow is drawn in a upper directions. Now here you see the second position. In second position again the 4 ports. This 4 port is total in a 1 position, 4 port is provided. This P port, this is the T ports. Okay, and P and T are connected, means it is called as the tandem center mid positions, and A and B port are closed. Now this is the second position, means this first, mid and the second position. In second position P port is connected with B port, so line is drawn incline and arrow is in upper directions. This is the A port and this is the T ports. So here you see the green color line is drawn in downward, means oil is flow from A to T, and it is operated manually, that's why here we draw the symbol of lever. So I hope you understand the basic of bidirectional and 4x3. The figure show a hydraulic circuit to operate bidirectional motors using a tandem center 4x3 DCV. That is a different mid position is possible. Okay, this mid position is called as the tandem center mid position. Okay, if you want to know detail about all type of the mid positions, then I request to watch the video of symbol for the different type of the valves and the mid positions. If you want to watch this video, then go to playlist and the OHP chapter 1 introductions, and also the link is provided in a card of your mobile or a laptop. From the I symbol you watch this video. Now in first position means this diagram is for the first positions. For mid position and second positions, I show you with these animations how it is connected with the motor and the hydraulic systems. Okay. Now during the first position, you see the P port is connected with A port and this B port is connected with the T ports. So the same thing is written, oil flow from P to A and B to T. Hence the motor runs in a clockwise directions. Okay. So pressurized oil come from the pump is enter in a P port P to A, then it is enter on the left side. So high pressure we draw the red color. Okay. So this enter on this left side. So oil is strike on the vanes of the motor and the motor is rotate clockwise and oil is back from the second side. It is come in a B port from the BT and it is go to the oil reservoir through the filter. So this is the first positions. Now before moving guys, I request to like the video and subscribe my channel. Descriptions and if the link control valve is changed. How this position of directional control valve is changed? By operating the directional control valve. So directional control valve is operated by number of a manual, foot valve, solenoid types, pilot types. That is a number of option is possible. So we move this directional control valve. So here you see in a second position, P port is connected with B, A port is connected with the T. Okay. So here we return something that is in second position, 4/3 DCV, oil flow from P to B and A to T. So here you see port P is connected with B, A is connected with the T. Okay. Hence the motor runs in anti-clockwise direction. Now how the motor is run anti-clockwise? The pressurized oil coming from the pump is come in P port. Then it is supplied in a B port. From the B port here you see this red color line is changed. Okay. In earlier side we draw the red color this side. So pressurized oil is flow to this right side of the directional control valve. Right side of the bidirectional motor. So this oil is strike on the vane of the motors and the design of the vane is such a type that suppose we supply the oil from this side, then it is rotated on the anti-clockwise direction. So this oil supply we need to some output of the oil. So here oil side on a one side. Okay. Now second one.
Okay, so this is about our all the hydraulic circuit. Okay, and here we have covered all the circuit. That is, we have successfully completed our hydraulic section. Now in the next lecture we'll start our section number 2, that is related to the pneumatic. Okay, so thank you very much. I request all of you, please write down your roll number in the chat box, and after writing your roll number in the chat box you can leave this meeting. Okay, thank you. Please write your roll number in the chat box and then you can leave this meeting.